Someone is nervous about what you're about to discover, my beloved child. There is something I need you to hear today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Because you have been sensing that something is changing. You may not have words for it. You may not fully understand it. But deep within your spirit, you feel that something is different. For a long time, pieces did not seem to fit together. Questions remained unanswered. Situations remained unclear. Certain things simply did not make sense. Yet even in the middle of that confusion, I was working. Even when you could not see the full picture, I could. Even when you felt uncertain, I knew exactly what was happening. My child, the truth has a way of revealing itself. What is hidden does not remain hidden forever. What is done in darkness does not stay in darkness forever. What is concealed eventually comes into the light. And that is why you must not fear what is coming. Because truth is not your enemy. Truth is your friend. Truth brings clarity. Truth brings freedom. Truth removes confusion. Truth allows healing to begin. My beloved child, there have been moments when you questioned your own instincts. Moments when you sensed something was not right. Moments when your heart felt unsettled. Yet you pushed those feelings aside because you lacked evidence. You lacked confirmation. You lacked understanding. But I was still guiding you. I was still protecting you. I was still showing you things, even when you could not fully recognize them. My child, sometimes people become nervous when truth approaches. Not because truth is harmful, but because truth removes the comfort of secrecy. Truth removes masks. Truth removes illusions. Truth reveals what has been hidden beneath the surface. And while that process may feel uncomfortable, it is often necessary. Because you cannot build your future on confusion. You cannot build peace on deception. You cannot build wisdom on falsehood. My beloved child, I want you to understand something important. Do not allow fear to control your response. Do not allow anger to control your response. Do not allow bitterness to control your response. If new understanding comes into your life, receive it with wisdom. Receive it with maturity. Receive it with discernment. Because truth is not given to destroy you. Truth is given to guide you. Truth is given to help you move forward. Truth is given to help you see clearly. My child, many people spend years asking for answers. Years asking for clarity. Years asking for direction. Yet when clarity begins arriving, they become afraid. Do not be afraid. What I reveal for a reason. What I bring into the light, I bring into the light for a purpose. And that purpose is always connected to your growth, your wisdom, and your future. My beloved child, there are things you do not know yet. But there are also things you no longer need to fear. Because I am with you. I was with you before the truth became clear. I will be with you when the truth becomes clear. And I will be with you after the truth becomes clear. My presence does not depend on circumstances. My love does not depend on circumstances. My faithfulness does not depend on circumstances. And because I am with you, you can face whatever comes with confidence. My child, the days ahead are not meant to be lived in fear. They are meant to be lived in trust. Trusting that I am guiding you. Trusting that I am protecting you. Trusting that I am helping you see what you need to see. Trusting that I am leading you toward greater peace, greater wisdom, and greater understanding. So today, release the fear. Release the anxiety. Release the need to control every detail. And place your trust in me. Because whatever is revealed, whatever becomes clear, whatever answers arrive, I will still be with you. And my beloved child, that changes everything. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. Because there is more that your heart needs to hear. There is more that I want you to understand. For too long, you have carried questions that never seemed to have answers. Questions about people. Questions about situations. Questions about things that never quite made sense. You tried to ignore those questions. You tried to convince yourself that perhaps you were imagining things. You tried to move forward without understanding. Yet those questions continued returning. Again and again. Because deep within your spirit, something was telling you that there was more beneath the surface than what appeared on the outside. My child, I created you with discernment. I created you with wisdom. I created you with the ability to recognize when something feels out of alignment. That does not mean every suspicion is correct. That does not mean every concern is accurate. But it does mean that I can use those moments to guide your attention toward something important. And that is why I want you to listen carefully. Not to fear, not to anxiety, not to speculation, but to my voice. Because my voice brings peace. My voice brings clarity. My voice brings wisdom. My voice brings understanding. My beloved child, There are times when people hide things because they are afraid. Afraid of consequences. Afraid of accountability. Afraid of being seen as they truly are. Afraid of losing control over a situation. Afraid of facing the truth themselves. Fear causes people to wear masks. Fear causes people to create appearances. Fear causes people to avoid difficult conversations. Fear causes people to hide behind half-truths and distractions. But my child, no mask lasts forever. No illusion lasts forever. No hidden thing remains hidden forever. Eventually, truth finds its way into the light. Eventually, reality becomes visible. Eventually, understanding arrives. And when it does, you must remember who you are. You are not someone controlled by fear. You are not someone controlled by anger. You are not someone controlled by bitterness. You belong to me, my beloved child. When truth arrives, let wisdom arrive with it. When clarity arrives, let peace arrive with it. When understanding arrives, let maturity arrive with it. Because the goal is not revenge. The goal is not resentment. The goal is freedom. Freedom from confusion. Freedom from uncertainty. Freedom from carrying questions that have weighed heavily on your heart. My child, many people become trapped because they spend more time chasing explanations than they spend pursuing peace. Do not become trapped in that cycle. If I reveal something to you, receive the lesson. Receive the wisdom. Receive the clarity. And continue moving forward. Because your future is too valuable to remain chained to yesterday. Your future is too important to remain trapped in old confusion. Your future is too meaningful to be controlled by what someone else chose to do. My beloved child, I know there were times when you gave people the benefit of the doubt. Times when you chose patience. Times when you chose understanding. Times when you hoped circumstances would improve. Those choices do not make you foolish. Those choices reveal the kindness of your heart. They reveal your willingness to see the best in others. And while kindness is valuable, wisdom is also necessary. Because wisdom helps you recognize truth when it appears. My child, there are seasons when I protect you by closing your eyes to certain things. And there are seasons when I protect you by opening your eyes to certain things. Both are forms of guidance. Both are forms of protection. Both are expressions of my care for you. Because I always know what you need to know and when you need to know it. My beloved child, do not rush ahead of me. Do not force answers. Do not force outcomes. Do not become obsessed with discovering every detail. Trust me. Trust that what needs to be revealed will be revealed. Trust that what needs to become clear will become clear. Trust that what needs to come into the light will come into the light. Because my timing remains perfect. Even when it feels slow. Even when it feels delayed. Even when it feels confusing. My child, there is a difference between curiosity and wisdom. Curiosity wants every detail immediately. Wisdom waits patiently for understanding. Curiosity can create anxiety. Wisdom creates peace. Curiosity can become obsessed. Wisdom remains steady. And I want you to walk in wisdom. Because wisdom allows you to see clearly without losing your peace. My beloved child, you do not need to fear the truth. If truth confirms what you suspected, I will guide you. If truth surprises you, I will guide you. If truth changes your perspective, I will guide you. If truth requires difficult decisions, I will guide you. You are not facing any of this alone. You never have, and you never will. My child, something important is happening in your life. Not necessarily because someone is hiding a dramatic secret. Not necessarily because a great mystery is unfolding. But because I am leading you into greater clarity, greater wisdom, greater discernment, greater understanding. And whenever clarity increases, confusion begins to lose its power. My beloved child, that is why I want you to remain calm, remain prayerful, remain patient, remain trusting. Because the more you trust me, the less power uncertainty has over you. The more you trust me, the less fear controls your thoughts. The more you trust me, the more peace fills your heart. And peace is one of the greatest gifts I can give you. My child, the days ahead are not meant to be lived in panic. They are meant to be lived in confidence. Confidence that I am guiding you. Confidence that I am protecting you. Confidence that I am revealing what needs to be revealed. Confidence that I am helping you walk forward with wisdom. So keep your eyes on me. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit peaceful. Because whatever you discover, whatever becomes clear, whatever understanding arrives, I will still be your guide. I will still be your protector. I will still be your source of strength. And I will still be the one leading you forward into a future filled with hope, wisdom, and peace. My beloved child, as you continue listening, I want you to quiet every distraction around you for a moment. Quiet the fears. Quiet the assumptions. Quiet the endless questions that have been racing through your mind. Because there is something deeper I want you to understand. Many times, when people hear the words a hidden truth or something is about to be discovered, they immediately think about another person. They immediately focus on what someone else may have done, what someone else may have said, what someone else may be hiding. But sometimes the greatest discovery is not about another person. Sometimes the greatest discovery is about yourself. Sometimes the truth I reveal is not merely about what others have been doing. Sometimes the truth I reveal is about who you truly are. My child, for too long, you have underestimated yourself. For too long, you have questioned your value. For too long, you have allowed disappointment to shape the way you see yourself. You have looked at your mistakes and forgotten your growth. You have looked at your failures and forgotten your progress. You have looked at your wounds and forgotten your healing. You have looked at your delays and forgotten your preparation. Yet I see something entirely different. I see strength. I see resilience. I see wisdom that was earned through experience. I see courage that survived difficult seasons. I see faith that continued despite uncertainty. My beloved child, one of the greatest truths you are discovering is that you are stronger than you realized. Not because life has been easy, but because you kept moving forward when life became difficult. You kept believing when circumstances gave you reasons to doubt. You kept hoping when disappointment tried to convince you otherwise. You kept praying when answers seemed distant. And every one of those choices strengthened your spirit. My child, there are people who expected you to quit. People who assumed you would stay discouraged. People who thought difficult seasons would define your future. People who underestimated what I could do in your life. Yet they failed to understand something important. They failed to understand that I was walking with you. And when I walk with someone, the story is never over. The situation is never final. The obstacle is never greater than my power. The challenge is never greater than my ability to create a way forward. My beloved child, you have survived things that once felt impossible. Think about that. There were moments you believed would break you. Moments you believed would destroy your peace forever. Moments you believed you would never recover from. Yet here you are, still standing, still moving, still growing, still listening. That is not an accident. That is evidence. Evidence of my grace. Evidence of my presence. Evidence of my faithfulness. My child, the truth has a way of changing everything. Not because truth changes reality, but because truth changes perspective. Once truth becomes visible, confusion loses its power. Once truth becomes visible, uncertainty begins to fade. Once truth becomes visible, wisdom becomes easier to apply. And that is why clarity is such a gift. My beloved child, I know there are questions you still carry. Questions about relationships. Questions about decisions. Questions about opportunities. Questions about things that seem unresolved. And while I may not answer every question immediately, I want you to trust something. I am never confused. I am never uncertain. I am never surprised. I already see the entire picture. I already know the beginning and the end. I already understand what you cannot yet see. And because I understand it, you can trust me even before understanding arrives. My child, there are moments ahead when pieces will begin fitting together. Moments when conversations will make more sense. Moments when past events will suddenly appear clearer. Moments when lessons will reveal their purpose. Moments when understanding will replace confusion. And when those moments arrive, do not focus on what was hidden. Focus on what was learned. Focus on the wisdom gained. Focus on the growth that occurred. Focus on the freedom that comes from clarity. Because wisdom is more valuable than simply having information. My beloved child, the future I am leading you toward is not built on confusion. It is built on truth. It is built on wisdom. It is built on discernment. It is built on peace. And every lesson you are learning right now is helping prepare you for that future. My child, you are entering a season where discernment matters more than ever. A season where wisdom matters more than ever. A season where listening to my voice matters more than ever. Because there are opportunities ahead, decisions ahead, relationships ahead, and I want you moving forward with confidence. Not fear, not anxiety, not suspicion, confidence. The confidence that comes from knowing that I am guiding your steps. My beloved child, do not allow fear to write stories that do not exist. Do not allow assumptions to become facts. Do not allow worry to become your guide. Let me be your guide, because my guidance brings peace. My guidance brings stability. My guidance brings clarity. My guidance brings strength. And when you follow my voice, you do not need to fear what is hidden, because I know what is hidden. I know what is visible. I know what is coming. And I know exactly how to lead you. My child, there is a reason I keep telling you to trust me. Because trust creates peace before understanding arrives. Trust allows you to rest before answers appear. Trust allows you to move forward before every detail becomes clear. And that kind of trust is powerful. It protects your heart. It protects your peace. It protects your focus. My beloved child, the story is still unfolding. The lessons are still unfolding. The understanding is still unfolding. And as it does, remember this. You do not need to fear what you are about to discover. Because no matter what becomes clear, no matter what truth emerges, no matter what understanding arrives, I will still be with you. I will still guide you. I will still strengthen you. I will still protect you. And I will still lead you into a future filled with hope, a future filled with wisdom, a future filled with peace, and a future where clarity replaces confusion forever. My beloved child, come closer and listen carefully. Because what I am about to tell you is not only about what someone else may be hiding. It is about what I have been teaching you through this entire season. For a long time, you have been asking me for clarity. You have been asking me to help you understand certain situations. You have been asking me to reveal what is true and what is not. You have been asking me to show you which voices deserve your trust and which voices do not. And my child, those prayers have not gone unheard. Not one of them. I heard every prayer spoken in faith. I heard every question whispered in the middle of the night. I heard every moment when confusion weighed heavily on your heart. And even when you felt as though answers were far away, I was already working. My beloved child, there is something powerful about truth. Truth has the ability to set people free. Not because truth is always easy. Not because truth is always comfortable. But because truth allows you to stop living in uncertainty. Truth allows you to stop carrying questions that have exhausted your heart. Truth allows you to move forward with confidence instead of confusion. And confidence is important because I did not create you to live in constant fear. I did not create you to spend your life trapped by uncertainty. I created you to walk in wisdom. I created you to walk in discernment. I created you to walk in peace. My child, many people spend years looking for answers in the wrong places. They chase rumors. They chase assumptions. They chase endless speculation. And in doing so, they lose their peace. But I want something better for you. I want you to learn to trust my guidance. Because my guidance does not lead to panic. My guidance leads to peace. My guidance does not create chaos. My guidance creates clarity. My guidance does not leave you trapped in confusion. My guidance helps you move forward. My beloved child, there are times when people reveal more than they realize. Sometimes it happens through their words. Sometimes it happens through their actions. Sometimes it happens through patterns that become impossible to ignore. And often, what was hidden begins revealing itself naturally over time. That is why patience is so important. Patience allows truth to surface. Patience allows clarity to grow. Patience allows wisdom to develop. My child, do not underestimate the value of patience. Patience protects you from rushing into wrong conclusions. Patience protects you from making decisions based on emotion. Patience protects you from reacting before understanding arrives. And when patience works together with wisdom, remarkable things happen. You begin seeing situations more clearly. You begin recognizing patterns more accurately. You begin understanding what once seemed confusing. My beloved child, the reason some people become nervous when truth approaches is because truth removes uncertainty. Truth reveals reality. Truth creates accountability. Truth shines light into places where people hoped darkness would remain. But remember this, your responsibility is not to control what others do. Your responsibility is to walk in wisdom, to walk in truth, to walk in integrity, to walk in peace, because those things protect your heart. My child, one of the greatest gifts I can give you is discernment. Discernment helps you recognize what is healthy. Discernment helps you recognize what is unhealthy. Discernment helps you understand where trust should be placed. Discernment helps you avoid unnecessary pain. And throughout this season, I have been strengthening that discernment within you. You may not have realized it. You may not have noticed it. But you are wiser now than you were before. You are stronger now than you were before. You are more aware now than you were before. And that growth matters. My beloved child, there are lessons you have learned that will protect you in future seasons. Lessons about trust. Lessons about boundaries. Lessons about relationships. Lessons about wisdom. Lessons about listening to my voice. And every one of those lessons has value. Nothing has been wasted. Not the confusion. Not the waiting. Not the uncertainty. Not even the difficult experiences. Because I can use all of it. My child, the future ahead of you requires clarity. The future ahead of you requires wisdom. The future ahead of you requires discernment. That is why I am preparing you now. That is why I am teaching you now. That is why I am guiding you now. Because what lies ahead is important. And I want you entering that future with confidence. My beloved child, do not allow fear to convince you that every hidden thing is dangerous. Sometimes what you discover simply confirms what you already sensed. Sometimes what you discover simply helps you understand the past more clearly. Sometimes what you discover provides closure. Sometimes what you discover helps you move forward. And moving forward is important. Because your future is waiting. Your purpose is waiting. Your next chapter is waiting. My child, I want you to release the burden of trying to control everything. Release the burden of needing every answer immediately. Release the burden of trying to force understanding. Trust me. Trust that I know what you need to know. Trust that I know when you need to know it. Trust that I know how to guide you. Because I do. I always have. And I always will. My beloved child, the days ahead are not meant to be feared. They are meant to be embraced with wisdom. Embraced with discernment. Embraced with confidence. Because I am walking beside you. Every step. Every decision. Every question. Every discovery. I am there. And because I am there, you do not need to fear what is coming. You do not need to fear what becomes clear. You do not need to fear what is revealed. Because whatever happens, whatever you learn, whatever understanding arrives, my wisdom will be sufficient. My strength will be sufficient. My peace will be sufficient. And my love for you will remain constant. Forever. My child, keep your eyes on me. Keep your heart steady. Keep your spirit peaceful. Because the greatest discovery ahead may not be what someone else was hiding. The greatest discovery may be realizing how faithfully I have been guiding you all along. My beloved child, there is a reason I have been speaking to your heart about discernment. There is a reason certain thoughts keep returning to your mind. There is a reason you have felt a quiet sense that something is not exactly as it appears. And before you allow fear to take control, I want you to understand something important. Discernment is not fear. Discernment is not paranoia. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is the ability to see beyond appearances and seek wisdom. And wisdom is one of the greatest gifts I can give you. My child, many people become trapped because they only pay attention to words. They ignore actions. They ignore patterns. They ignore what is consistently being revealed through behavior. But wisdom pays attention. Wisdom notices patterns. Wisdom recognizes consistency. Wisdom understands that truth often reveals itself through repeated actions over time. That is why I want you to remain observant, not fearful, not anxious, not obsessed, simply observant, calm, prayerful, wise. My beloved child, there are individuals who become uncomfortable when they realize that someone is beginning to see clearly. Not because seeing clearly is wrong, but because clarity removes confusion. And confusion often benefits those who prefer to avoid accountability. When confusion disappears, choices become visible. Patterns become visible. Motives become visible. And reality becomes much harder to ignore. My child, do not misunderstand what I am saying. This is not an invitation to assume the worst about people. This is not an invitation to judge others harshly. This is not an invitation to become suspicious of everyone around you. No. I am inviting you into wisdom. I am inviting you into maturity. I am inviting you into spiritual discernment. Because discernment allows you to walk confidently without becoming cynical. My beloved child, one of the enemy's favorite strategies is confusion. Confusion creates hesitation. Confusion creates uncertainty. Confusion creates fear. Confusion causes people to doubt what they already know deep inside. But I am not the author of confusion. I bring peace. I bring wisdom. I bring understanding. I bring light. And wherever light enters, confusion begins losing its power. My child, There have been times when you ignored your instincts because you wanted to believe the best. There have been times when you overlooked warning signs because you hoped circumstances would improve. There have been times when you gave chance after chance because your heart desired harmony. And while compassion is beautiful, wisdom is necessary. Compassion without wisdom can create vulnerability. Compassion with wisdom creates strength. That is why I am teaching you balance. Balance between grace and discernment. Balance between kindness and wisdom. Balance between patience and clarity. My beloved child, there is something powerful about seeing things as they truly are. Not as fear imagines them. Not as wishful thinking imagines them. But as they actually are. Because reality provides a foundation upon which wise decisions can be built. And wise decisions create stronger futures. My child, you cannot always control what others choose. You cannot always control what others say. You cannot always control what others hide. But you can control how you respond. You can choose wisdom. You can choose peace. You can choose maturity. You can choose faith. And those choices matter more than you realize. My beloved child, many people spend years trying to change others. Years trying to force honesty. Years trying to force understanding. Years trying to force accountability. And in doing so, they exhaust themselves. But I want something different for you. I want you to focus on what you can control. Your character, your integrity, your faith, your peace, your relationship with me. Because those things create stability regardless of what others choose. My child, something remarkable happens when you stop chasing answers and start trusting me. Peace begins replacing anxiety. Wisdom begins replacing confusion. Confidence begins replacing fear. Because your security no longer depends on having every answer. Your security depends on knowing that I am guiding you. And I am. Every day, every moment, every step. My beloved child, the truth does not need your help to remain true. The truth remains true whether people acknowledge it or not. The truth remains true whether people admit it or not. The truth remains true whether people attempt to hide it or not. That is why you do not need to force revelation. You do not need to force exposure. You do not need to force outcomes. Trust me. Allow truth to unfold in its proper time. Allow wisdom to grow in its proper time. Allow understanding to arrive in its proper time. Because my timing has purpose. My child, I know that waiting can feel difficult, especially when questions remain unanswered, especially when situations seem unclear, especially when you sense that there is more beneath the surface. But remember this, not every answer arrives immediately. Not every lesson is learned quickly. Not every truth becomes visible overnight. Some things require time. Some things require patience. Some things require trust. And trust is exactly what I am developing within you. My beloved child, the days ahead are an opportunity to grow stronger, an opportunity to grow wiser, an opportunity to become more confident in my guidance, an opportunity to discover that peace does not require complete understanding, because peace comes from my presence. And my presence is with you right now. My child, take a deep breath and remember this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not walking through uncertainty alone. I am here. I have been here. And I will continue to be here. Guiding, protecting, teaching, strengthening, leading. My beloved child, whatever becomes clear in the future, whatever truths emerge, whatever discoveries await, do not let them steal your peace. Instead, let them strengthen your wisdom. Let them deepen your discernment. Let them increase your confidence in my guidance. Because the goal is not merely discovering information. The goal is becoming the person I created you to be. Wise, strong, peaceful, disciplined, faithful, and ready for the beautiful future I am preparing ahead of you. My child, continue trusting me. Continue listening to my voice. Continue walking forward. Because every step is bringing greater clarity. Every step is bringing greater wisdom. Every step is bringing greater understanding. And most importantly, every step is bringing you closer to the peace that comes from knowing that I have been guiding you all along. My beloved child, there comes a moment in many people's lives when the fog begins to lift. A moment when confusion starts giving way to understanding. A moment when things that once seemed complicated suddenly become clear. And when that moment arrives, it often feels as though a light has been turned on in a room that was once dark. You begin seeing details you missed before. You begin recognizing patterns you overlooked before. You begin understanding why certain events unfolded the way they did. And most importantly, you begin realizing that I was guiding you the entire time. My child, for a long season, you have been asking questions. Some of those questions were spoken aloud. Others remained hidden deep within your heart. Questions about people's intentions. Questions about certain relationships. Questions about situations that never seemed completely honest. Questions about why certain things happened the way they did. And while answers did not always arrive immediately, my guidance never stopped. Not once. Even during the moments when you felt uncertain. Even during the moments when you doubted yourself. Even during the moments when you wondered whether you were imagining things. I was still present. I was still leading. I was still protecting. My beloved child. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that clarity arrives all at once. Usually it doesn't. Usually clarity arrives piece by piece, lesson by lesson, experience by experience, conversation by conversation, until one day, enough pieces have come together that the picture becomes impossible to ignore. And when that happens, wisdom begins replacing confusion. My child, I want you to remember something important. Not everyone who smiles is sincere. Not everyone who speaks kindly has pure motives. Not everyone who promises loyalty intends to remain loyal. But this does not mean you should become fearful of people. It means you should become wise. Wisdom protects without creating bitterness. Wisdom recognizes reality without creating hatred. Wisdom sees clearly without losing compassion. And that is the kind of wisdom I want for you. My beloved child, there are people who become uncomfortable when they realize that someone is beginning to think independently. Someone is beginning to ask questions. Someone is beginning to notice inconsistencies. Someone is beginning to seek truth instead of simply accepting appearances. Because truth changes dynamics. Truth removes illusions. Truth challenges masks. Truth reveals what appearances try to conceal. And that can make some people nervous. Not because truth is harmful, but because truth is powerful. My child, the goal of discernment is not to make you suspicious. The goal of discernment is to make you wise. There is a difference. Suspicion assumes the worst. Wisdom seeks understanding. Suspicion creates fear. Wisdom creates clarity. Suspicion traps people. Wisdom frees people. And I want you walking in wisdom. My beloved child, as clarity increases in your life, some things may surprise you. Some things may confirm what you already sensed. Some things may help explain experiences that once confused you. And some things may simply provide closure. Whatever happens, remember this. Your peace must never depend on another person's choices. Your peace must depend on me. Because people can disappoint. People can change. People can make mistakes. But my faithfulness never changes. My child, you do not need every person to understand you. You do not need every person to agree with you. You do not need every person to validate your experience. What you need is wisdom. What you need is discernment. What you need is confidence in my guidance. And those are exactly the things I am developing within you. My beloved child, there are seasons when I teach through blessings. And there are seasons when I teach through challenges. Both have value. Both create growth. Both prepare you for future opportunities. Because every experience contains lessons. Every season contains wisdom. Every challenge contains opportunities for growth. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Nothing. My child, the future ahead of you is too important for you to remain trapped in confusion. That is why I am leading you toward greater understanding, greater clarity, greater wisdom, greater peace. Because peace grows when understanding increases. And understanding grows when wisdom is applied. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you wished everything would become clear immediately. Moments when you wished every question would be answered at once. Moments when you wished uncertainty would disappear overnight. But growth rarely happens that way. Growth takes time. Wisdom takes time. Discernment takes time. And because they take time, patience becomes necessary. My child, do not become discouraged because every answer has not arrived yet. Do not become frustrated because some things remain unclear. Do not assume that silence means nothing is happening. Many important things develop quietly. Many important truths reveal themselves gradually. Many important lessons require time to fully understand. And that is okay, because I am not in a hurry. And you do not need to be in a hurry either. My beloved child, the closer you walk with me, the more clearly you will see. Not necessarily because circumstances become easier, but because wisdom becomes stronger. Discernment becomes sharper. Faith becomes deeper. Confidence becomes steadier. And those things help you navigate life with greater peace. My child, remember this truth. You do not need to fear what you are about to discover. If understanding comes, I will guide you. If truth comes, I will guide you. If clarity comes, I will guide you. If difficult conversations come, I will guide you. If important decisions come, I will guide you. You are not facing any future moment alone. I will be there, just as I have always been. My beloved child, there is strength growing inside you. There is wisdom growing inside you. There is discernment growing inside you. And one day you will look back and realize that this entire season was preparing you for greater confidence, greater peace, greater maturity, greater freedom, and greater trust in me. Because while you were searching for answers, I was building wisdom. While you were seeking clarity, I was strengthening discernment. While you were asking questions, I was preparing you for understanding. And when the right time arrives, the pieces will fit together. The picture will become clearer. And you will recognize that I was faithfully guiding you through every step of the journey. My child, hold on to your peace. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your trust. Because the closer you walk with me, the less power confusion has over your life. And the more clearly you will see the path I have prepared before you. My beloved child, there are some truths that could not have been revealed to you earlier. Not because I wanted to keep you in darkness. Not because I wanted to withhold understanding. But because timing matters. And there are seasons when a person is not yet ready to carry certain knowledge. There are seasons when understanding arrives too early and creates confusion instead of wisdom. There are seasons when revelation arrives too early and creates fear instead of growth. That is why my timing is important. Because I know not only what needs to be revealed, I know when it needs to be revealed. My child, looking back now, there are things you desperately wanted to know years ago. Questions you wanted answered immediately, situations you wanted explained, people you wanted exposed, motives you wanted uncovered. Yet if you had received all those answers back then, you might not have handled them the same way you would today. Because today you have more wisdom. Today you have more maturity. Today you have more discernment. Today you have more understanding. And growth changes everything. My beloved child, one of the reasons I sometimes allow waiting is because waiting develops strength. Waiting develops patience. Waiting develops perspective. Waiting develops discernment. And when discernment grows, you begin seeing things differently. You stop reacting to appearances. You start paying attention to patterns. You stop being impressed by words alone. You start paying attention to actions. You stop chasing explanations. You start seeking wisdom. And that transformation is valuable. My child, there were moments when I protected you by not allowing you to see everything. Think about that. There were situations where too much information would have overwhelmed you. Situations where too much knowledge would have distracted you. Situations where understanding certain things prematurely would have caused unnecessary pain. So I protected you, not by abandoning you, but by guiding you step by step, little by little, lesson by lesson, truth by truth. My beloved child, many people look back over their lives and suddenly realize that what once felt like a delay was actually protection. A closed door that seemed disappointing was actually protection. A relationship that ended was actually protection. An opportunity that disappeared was actually protection. A path that changed unexpectedly was actually protection. Because I could see what they could not see. And I can see what you cannot see. My child, you often ask me why certain things happened. Why certain people entered your life. Why certain people left your life. Why certain opportunities appeared. Why certain opportunities disappeared. And while I may not answer every question immediately, I want you to remember this. Nothing catches me by surprise. Nothing. Not a single conversation. Not a single decision. Not a single event. I see it all. And because I see it all, I am able to guide you through it. My beloved child, there are individuals who become nervous when someone begins seeing clearly. Not because clarity is dangerous, but because clarity changes relationships. Clarity changes decisions. Clarity changes boundaries. Clarity changes expectations. And when people have benefited from confusion, clarity can feel uncomfortable to them. But do not focus on their discomfort. Focus on your growth. Focus on your wisdom. Focus on your peace. Because your future depends more on your response than on anyone else's reaction. My child, one of the greatest gifts you can receive is the ability to see reality clearly without becoming bitter. Many people see reality and become angry. Many people see reality and become resentful. Many people see reality and allow disappointment to harden their hearts. But I want something different for you. I want you to see clearly while remaining compassionate. I want you to understand reality while maintaining peace. I want you to recognize truth while keeping your heart soft. Because wisdom and bitterness are not the same thing. Discernment and anger are not the same thing. Clarity and hatred are not the same thing. My beloved child, you do not need bitterness to protect yourself. You need wisdom. You do not need fear to protect yourself. You need discernment. You do not need suspicion to protect yourself. You need understanding. And those are the things I have been developing inside you. My child, there are lessons from your past that are preparing you for your future. Lessons about trust. Lessons about patience. Lessons about boundaries. Lessons about listening to my voice. Lessons about recognizing what truly matters. And every one of those lessons has value. Even the painful ones. Even the difficult ones. Even the lessons you wish you never had to learn. Because all of them are contributing to your growth. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you wish everything would simply make sense. Moments when you wish every mystery would disappear. Moments when you wish every question would finally have an answer. And those desires are understandable. But remember this, your peace does not depend on having every answer. Your peace depends on knowing me. Because even when questions remain, my presence remains. Even when details remain unclear, my faithfulness remains. Even when understanding is incomplete, my love remains. My child, the future ahead of you contains clarity. The future ahead of you contains wisdom. The future ahead of you contains growth. The future ahead of you contains opportunities that cannot be fully appreciated until this season has done its work. That is why I keep asking you to trust me. Because trust allows growth to continue. Trust allows peace to remain. Trust allows wisdom to develop. My beloved child, you are becoming stronger than you realize, wiser than you realize, more discerning than you realize, more prepared than you realize. And one day you will look back on this season and recognize something beautiful. You will realize that while you were asking for answers, I was building wisdom. While you were asking for clarity, I was building discernment. While you were asking for understanding, I was building strength. And all of it was preparing you for the future I have planned. My child, do not be afraid of what becomes clear. Do not be afraid of what is revealed. Do not be afraid of what you learn. Because truth in my hands becomes wisdom. Wisdom in my hands becomes strength. And strength in my hands becomes peace. So continue walking with me. Continue trusting me. Continue listening to my voice. Because I am leading you toward greater clarity, greater freedom, greater confidence, and a future where wisdom guides every step you take. And when that future arrives, you will understand why some things had to wait, why some things had to unfold slowly, why some truths had to arrive at exactly the right moment. Because, my child, my timing was protecting you all along. My beloved child, you have come a long way, farther than you realize, farther than you give yourself credit for. There was a time when confusion would have completely controlled your emotions. There was a time when uncertainty would have stolen your peace. There was a time when unanswered questions would have kept you trapped for weeks, months, or even years. But you are not the same person you used to be. You have grown. You have learned. You have matured. And because of that growth, you are now capable of seeing things through a different lens. A wiser lens. A stronger lens. A lens shaped by faith rather than fear. My child, there are moments in life when everything begins making sense. Not all at once. Not in a dramatic instant. But gradually. Like the sunrise replacing darkness. Like a fog slowly lifting from a landscape. Like puzzle pieces quietly falling into place. And when those moments arrive, something remarkable happens. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And you begin asking, what was this teaching me? That question changes everything. Because victims focus only on what happened. Wisdom focuses on what was learned. Victims stay trapped in the past. Wisdom uses the past to build a stronger future. My beloved child, you were never meant to remain trapped in confusion. You were never meant to remain trapped in disappointment. You were never meant to remain trapped in unanswered questions. You were meant to grow beyond them. You were meant to become stronger through them. You were meant to develop wisdom through them. And that is exactly what has been happening. Even when you could not see it. Even when you did not understand it. Even when you doubted it. My child, One of the greatest breakthroughs a person can experience is not discovering another person's secrets. It is discovering their own strength, their own resilience, their own wisdom, their own ability to keep moving forward despite uncertainty. Because once you discover that strength, fear begins losing its grip. My beloved child, think about everything you have survived. Think about every difficult season, every disappointment, every setback, every unexpected change, every moment when life unfolded differently than you expected. You survived all of it. Not because you were perfect, not because you had all the answers, but because my grace carried you, my strength sustained you, my presence guided you. My child, there are people who expected circumstances to break you, people who assumed hardship would define your future, people who underestimated the work I was doing inside your heart. But they only saw the outside. I saw the inside. I saw the growth. I saw the healing. I saw the wisdom developing. I saw the character being formed. And those things matter far more than appearances. My beloved child, you do not need to spend your life proving people wrong. You do not need to spend your life seeking validation from those who misunderstood you. You do not need to spend your life trying to convince everyone to see your worth. Your worth does not come from their opinion. Your worth comes from me. And because your worth comes from me, it remains secure regardless of what anyone else believes. My child, there is a reason I keep drawing your attention away from fear and toward wisdom. Because wisdom creates freedom. Fear creates bondage. Wisdom creates peace. Fear creates anxiety. Wisdom creates confidence. Fear creates uncertainty. And I want you walking in freedom, walking in peace, walking in confidence, walking in trust. My beloved child, the breakthrough that is coming is not only about what you discover. The breakthrough is about who you become because of what you discover. You become wiser. You become stronger. You become more discerning. You become more confident in my guidance. You become less dependent on appearances and more dependent on wisdom. And that transformation is priceless. My child, do not allow hidden motives to consume your attention. Do not allow other people's choices to dominate your thoughts. Do not allow past disappointments to define your future. Instead, focus on the lessons. Focus on the growth. Focus on the wisdom. Focus on the future I am preparing. Because your future is far more important than your confusion. My beloved child, there is divine justice woven throughout creation. Not always immediate, not always obvious, but real, very real. You do not have to force it. You do not have to create it. You do not have to carry the burden of making everything right. That burden belongs to me. Your responsibility is faithfulness. Your responsibility is integrity. Your responsibility is wisdom. Your responsibility is peace. And when you focus on those things, you create space for me to work in ways you cannot yet imagine. My child, some people spend so much energy trying to uncover every hidden detail that they miss the greater lesson. The greater lesson is not about what others did. The greater lesson is about how you grow, how you respond, how you heal, how you move forward, how you become stronger through every experience. That is where true breakthrough occurs. My beloved child, I see your future. I see opportunities you cannot yet see. I see blessings you cannot yet imagine. I see doors that have not yet opened. I see relationships that have not yet formed. I see victories that have not yet happened. And because I see those things, I can tell you confidently, do not remain focused on what is behind you. Look ahead. Look toward what I am preparing. Look toward what I am building. Look toward what I am leading you into. Because the best chapters of your story are still being written. My child, there is peace available to you right now. Not after every question is answered. Not after every mystery is solved. Not after every truth becomes visible. Right now. Because peace does not come from complete understanding. Peace comes from trusting me. And trust is stronger than certainty. Trust allows you to move forward even when details remain unknown. Trust allows you to sleep peacefully even when questions remain unanswered. Trust allows you to live with confidence because you know who is guiding your steps. My beloved child, the season of confusion is not your permanent home. The season of uncertainty is not your permanent home. The season of questions is not your permanent home. You are moving toward clarity. You are moving toward wisdom. You are moving toward understanding. You are moving toward peace. And every day brings you closer. Every lesson brings you closer. Every prayer brings you closer. Every act of trust brings you closer. So keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep listening. Keep believing. Because what I am building in your life is far greater than what you currently see. And when you finally look back on this season, you will realize that the greatest discovery was never about someone else's hidden motives. The greatest discovery was realizing how much I had transformed you along the way. My beloved child, you have stayed with me through this journey. You have listened. You have reflected. You have carried these words into your heart. And now we are approaching one of the most important lessons in this entire message. Not a lesson about another person. Not a lesson about secrets. Not a lesson about hidden motives. But a lesson about you. A lesson about your growth. A lesson about your future. A lesson about the incredible work I have been doing inside your life all along. My child, for so long, you believed the breakthrough would come when you finally discovered the truth. You believed peace would arrive when every question was answered. You believed confidence would arrive when every mystery was solved. But now you are beginning to understand something deeper. Peace does not come from knowing everything. Peace comes from trusting me. Confidence does not come from having all the answers. Confidence comes from knowing that I am guiding your steps. Security does not come from controlling every situation. Security comes from resting in my faithfulness. My beloved child, that realization changes everything. Because once you understand it, fear loses much of its power. Fear survives on uncertainty. Fear survives on imagined outcomes. Fear survives on unanswered questions. But trust survives even when questions remain. Trust survives even when circumstances remain unclear. Trust survives because it is rooted in me, and I never change. My child, there were seasons when you thought you were waiting for information, but in reality, you were being prepared. Prepared to think differently. Prepared to respond differently. Prepared to grow beyond old fears. Prepared to become stronger than your circumstances. Prepared to walk with greater wisdom. Prepared to trust me more deeply. And preparation is never wasted. My beloved child, think about how different you are today. Think about how many lessons you have learned. How many storms you have survived. How many disappointments you have overcome. How many fears you have faced. How many times you thought you would not make it through, and yet you did. That growth is evidence. Evidence that I have been working in your life. Evidence that I have been shaping your character. Evidence that I have been preparing you for what comes next. My child, the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you used to be. Wiser than the person you used to be. More discerning than the person you used to be. More peaceful than the person you used to be. And those changes did not happen accidentally. They happened because I was working. Even during the moments when you felt stuck. Even during the moments when you felt forgotten. Even during the moments when you wondered whether anything was changing. I was working. My beloved child, there is a reason some people become nervous when someone begins to see clearly. Clarity changes decisions. Clarity changes priorities. Clarity changes relationships. Clarity changes direction. A person who sees clearly cannot be controlled by confusion. A person who sees clearly cannot be manipulated as easily. A person who sees clearly begins making wiser choices. And wisdom creates freedom. My child, freedom is one of the gifts I desire for you. Freedom from unnecessary fear. Freedom from confusion. Freedom from constantly second-guessing yourself. Freedom from being controlled by other people's choices. Freedom from carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. Because I did not create you to live trapped. I created you to live with purpose. To live with peace. To live with confidence. To live with wisdom. My beloved child, the closer you walk with me, the more clearly you begin seeing life. Not because every situation becomes easy, but because your perspective changes. You begin seeing lessons where you once saw obstacles. You begin seeing opportunities where you once saw limitations. You begin seeing growth where you once saw delay. You begin seeing my hand where you once saw only uncertainty. And perspective changes everything. My child, I want you to understand something very important. You do not need every hidden thing to be exposed before you can move forward. You do not need every question answered before you can experience peace. You do not need every mystery solved before you can trust me. You can move forward now. You can trust now. You can experience peace now. Because my presence is enough. My guidance is enough. My wisdom is enough. My love is enough. My beloved child, there is a future waiting for you that is far greater than the confusion you have experienced. A future filled with growth. A future filled with wisdom. A future filled with opportunities. A future filled with peace. A future where the lessons of today become the strength of tomorrow. And every step you take with me moves you closer to that future. My child, do not become trapped looking backward. Do not spend all your energy analyzing the past. Do not allow yesterday's questions to steal tomorrow's opportunities. Learn the lessons, receive the wisdom, carry the growth, and continue moving forward. Because the future I am preparing deserves your attention. My beloved child, as we approach the final part of this message, I want you to remember this truth. You are not who you were. You have grown. You have changed. You have become stronger. You have become wiser. You have become more discerning. And that growth is one of the greatest miracles of all. Because circumstances can change quickly, but transformed character lasts. Transformed wisdom lasts. Transformed faith lasts. Transformed perspective lasts. And those are the gifts I have been developing within you. My child, the final lesson is not about what someone else was hiding. The final lesson is about what I was building. I was building strength. I was building wisdom. I was building discernment. I was building trust. I was building peace. And I was preparing you for a future greater than you currently imagine. So keep your eyes on me. Keep your heart steady. Keep moving forward. Because what lies ahead is far more important than what lies behind. And the best chapters of your story are still waiting to be written. My beloved child, if you have listened all the way to this moment, then I want you to hear these final words with your whole heart. Not as a message of fear, not as a message of suspicion, not as a message about what another person may or may not be hiding, but as a message about my faithfulness. Because that has been the true message all along. Through every question, I was faithful. Through every uncertainty, I was faithful. Through every disappointment, I was faithful. Through every season when you felt confused, I was faithful. And through every moment still ahead of you, I will remain faithful. My child, there were days when you felt alone, days when you felt misunderstood, days when you wondered whether anyone truly saw what you were carrying. Yet I saw. I always saw. I saw the silent battles. I saw the hidden tears. I saw the disappointments you never talked about. I saw the prayers you whispered when no one else was around. I saw the courage it took just to keep moving forward. And my beloved child, I was proud of you. Because even when you felt weak, you kept going. Even when you felt discouraged, you kept believing. Even when you felt uncertain, you kept taking another step. And those steps mattered more than you realize. My child, one day you will look back on this season with different eyes. You will see that what felt like confusion was often preparation. What felt like delay was often protection. What felt like disappointment was often redirection. What felt like uncertainty was often an invitation to trust me more deeply. And when you see those things, gratitude will replace many of the questions you once carried. My beloved child, do not spend your future trying to uncover every hidden thing. Do not spend your future trapped in old questions. Do not spend your future searching endlessly for explanations. Instead, live, grow, learn, love, trust, move forward. Because the life ahead of you is too valuable to remain chained to yesterday. Your purpose is too important. Your future is too important. Your peace is too important. My child, I want you to stop doubting your growth. Stop doubting your strength. Stop doubting the lessons you have learned. Stop doubting the wisdom I have been building within you. You are stronger than you were, wiser than you were, more discerning than you were, more prepared than you were. And that growth is not accidental. It is evidence that I have been working in your life. My beloved child, the future is not something to fear. The future is something to walk into with faith. Because I am already there. I am already present in the days you have not yet lived. I already see the opportunities that have not yet arrived. I already see the answers that have not yet become visible. I already see the blessings that are still on their way. And because I see them, I can tell you, there is hope ahead. There is peace ahead. There is wisdom ahead. There is growth ahead. There is joy ahead. My child, the greatest breakthrough was never simply discovering information. The greatest breakthrough was discovering how much you have changed, how much you have grown, how much stronger your faith has become, how much wiser your heart has become, how much more deeply you have learned to trust me. That transformation is precious. That transformation matters. That transformation will continue shaping your future in beautiful ways. My beloved child, as you leave this message, leave fear behind. Leave anxiety behind. Leave unnecessary burdens behind. Leave endless speculation behind. Leave the need to control everything behind. And carry these things with you instead: wisdom, discernment, faith, peace, hope, trust, because those are the things that will guide you well. My child, there may still be questions. There may still be details you do not understand. There may still be things that become clear later rather than sooner. And that is okay, because your peace no longer depends on knowing everything. Your peace depends on knowing me. And I am enough. My wisdom is enough. My guidance is enough. My presence is enough. My love is enough. My beloved child. So walk forward confidently. Walk forward peacefully. Walk forward wisely. Walk forward faithfully. Not because you have every answer, but because you know the one who does. And remember this: no truth can separate you from my love. No discovery can separate you from my guidance. No disappointment can separate you from my faithfulness. No uncertainty can separate you from my presence. I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will always be with you. Through every chapter, through every season, through every question, through every answer, through every victory, through every challenge, through every step of your journey. My child, lift your head, take a deep breath, release what you cannot control, trust what I am doing, and keep moving forward. Because your story is not ending. Your story is continuing. And the chapters ahead contain more wisdom, more peace, more growth, and more purpose than you can currently imagine. I know the path. I know the future. I know the plans I have for you. And I will continue guiding you every step of the way. So rest tonight, trust tomorrow, and walk into the future knowing this: you are loved, you are seen, you are guided, you are protected, and you are never walking alone. For I am with you, always. Amen. My beloved child, even though this message feels like it is ending, there is still something I want you to understand. Because some of you are listening right now and thinking, Jesus, I hear your words, but I am still waiting. You are still waiting for answers, still waiting for peace, still waiting for clarity, still waiting for the breakthrough you have prayed about for so long. And I want you to know that I understand. I understand the weight of waiting. I understand how difficult it can be to trust when you cannot see the entire picture. I understand how exhausting it can feel when prayers seem unanswered. But my child, waiting does not mean I am absent. Waiting does not mean I have forgotten you. Waiting does not mean nothing is happening. Many of the greatest things I do happen quietly, beneath the surface, behind the scenes, beyond what human eyes can see. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is no movement. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean there is no progress. Just because you cannot see the answer today does not mean the answer is not already on its way. My beloved child, think about a seed planted deep in the ground. For a season, nothing appears to happen. The soil looks unchanged. The surface looks empty. Everything appears silent. Yet beneath the ground, life is forming. Roots are growing. Strength is developing. Preparation is taking place. And one day, what was hidden suddenly becomes visible. What seemed inactive suddenly begins to grow. What seemed delayed suddenly begins to flourish. My child, many things in your life are like that seed. There are prayers you prayed months ago that are still producing results. There are lessons you learned years ago that are still shaping your future. There are doors I closed that are still protecting you. There are doors I opened that are still blessing you. Nothing is wasted. Not your tears. Not your prayers. Not your faithfulness. Not your waiting. I use all of it. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you felt discouraged. Moments when you questioned whether your efforts mattered. Moments when you wondered if anyone noticed how hard you were trying. But I noticed. I noticed every act of kindness. Every prayer. Every sacrifice. Every moment you chose faith instead of fear. Every moment you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness. Every moment you chose hope instead of despair. I saw it all, and none of it was wasted. My child, do not measure your progress only by visible results. Some of the greatest growth happens inside the heart. Some of the greatest victories happen where no one else can see. Some of the greatest transformations happen long before circumstances begin to change. And I have been transforming you, day by day, lesson by lesson, step by step. My beloved child, one day you will realize that the greatest miracle was not merely what I did around you. The greatest miracle was what I did within you. The strength I built, the wisdom I developed, the faith I deepened, the peace I planted, the courage I created, because those gifts will remain with you long after circumstances change. My child, do not be afraid of the future. The same hand that carried you yesterday is carrying you today, and that same hand will carry you tomorrow. The same love that protected you in previous seasons is protecting you now. And that same love will continue protecting you in the days ahead. My beloved child, there is more ahead, more growth, more wisdom, more joy, more peace, more opportunities, more blessings, more testimonies. Your story is not over. Your journey is not finished. Your best days are not behind you. There are still beautiful chapters waiting to be written. There are still prayers waiting to be answered. There are still miracles waiting to unfold. And when those moments arrive, you will understand why I asked you to keep trusting, why I asked you to keep believing, why I asked you to keep walking forward. Because my plans for you are greater than your fears, greater than your doubts, greater than your disappointments, greater than your current understanding. My child, so if you are tired, rest in my presence. If you are worried, bring your concerns to me. If you are uncertain, trust my guidance. If you are waiting, trust my timing. Because I am still working. I am still leading. I am still preparing. I am still opening doors. I am still making a way. And I am not finished yet. The story continues. The journey continues. The growth continues. And my love for you continues. Forever and always. Amen. My beloved child, there is something I want you to remember whenever fear tries to speak louder than faith. Whenever doubt tries to speak louder than hope. Whenever circumstances try to convince you that nothing is changing. Remember this. Just because you cannot see the blessing yet does not mean it is not growing. Just because you cannot see the answer yet does not mean I am not working. Just because you cannot see the path yet does not mean I have not already prepared it. My child, many people lose heart because they judge their future by what they see today. They look at their current circumstances and assume tomorrow will be the same. They look at their present struggles and assume those struggles will last forever. They look at temporary difficulties and mistake them for permanent realities. But I want you to see differently. I want you to see through the eyes of faith. Because faith can see possibilities before they become visible. Faith can see hope before circumstances change. Faith can see blessings before they arrive. And faith allows you to keep moving forward even when the road ahead is unclear. My beloved child, think about all the times in your life when things eventually worked out in ways you never expected. Think about the doors that opened unexpectedly, the opportunities that appeared unexpectedly, the people who entered your life unexpectedly, the solutions that arrived unexpectedly. At one point, you could not see those things coming. At one point, they were completely hidden from your view. Yet they still arrived. Why? Because I was working behind the scenes. I was arranging details you could not see. I was creating opportunities you could not imagine. I was preparing blessings before you even knew you needed them. My child, I am still doing that today, right now, even as you listen to these words, even as you wonder about your future, even as you carry questions in your heart. I am working, quietly, faithfully, powerfully. My beloved child, some blessings take time because they require preparation. Preparation in circumstances, preparation in opportunities, preparation in relationships, preparation in your own heart. Because if I gave certain blessings too early, they would not produce the same results. If I opened certain doors too early, you might not be ready for what waits behind them. If I answered certain prayers too early, you might miss the deeper lesson I am teaching. That is why my timing matters. Not because I enjoy making you wait, but because I care about your future. I care about your growth. I care about your peace. My child, you often focus on what is missing, what has not happened yet, what remains unfinished. But I want you to take a moment and focus on what I have already done. Look how far you have come. Look how much you have learned. Look how many obstacles you have overcome. Look how many fears you have survived. Look how many prayers I have already answered. When you focus on my faithfulness in the past, it becomes easier to trust me with the future. My beloved child, gratitude is powerful. Gratitude reminds your heart that I have never abandoned you. Gratitude reminds your spirit that I have always been working. Gratitude reminds your mind that temporary difficulties are not the whole story. And gratitude creates room for hope to grow. My child, there are blessings coming that you cannot see yet. Blessings that are still developing. Blessings that are still being prepared. Blessings that are still on their way. Some of them will arrive in forms you never expected. Some of them will answer prayers you almost forgot you prayed. Some of them will exceed what you imagined possible. Because my plans are often bigger than your expectations. My beloved child, do not allow impatience to steal your peace. Do not allow comparison to steal your joy. Do not allow fear to steal your hope. Your journey is unique. Your timing is unique. Your purpose is unique. And I am guiding you according to the plan I created specifically for you. My child, when you compare your life to someone else's, you only see part of the story. You do not see their struggles. You do not see their challenges. You do not see the lessons they must learn. And they do not see yours. So keep your eyes on me. Not on comparisons. Not on distractions. Not on what others seem to have. Keep your eyes on me. Because I know exactly what you need. And I know exactly when you need it. My beloved child, the blessing that is growing may not be visible today. But growth is happening. The answer that seems delayed may not have arrived yet. But preparation is happening. The opportunity that seems distant may not be here yet. But progress is happening. Never mistake silence for inactivity. Never mistake waiting for abandonment. Never mistake delay for denial. I am still moving. I am still working. I am still preparing. My child, one day you will look back on this season and smile. You will remember the nights when you worried, the days when you doubted, the moments when you wondered how everything would work out. And then you will see how faithfully I carried you through it all. You will see how many times I protected you, how many times I guided you, how many times I provided exactly what you needed. And your heart will overflow with gratitude. My beloved child, until that day arrives, keep trusting, keep praying, keep believing, keep growing, keep moving forward. Because every step of faith matters. Every act of trust matters. Every prayer matters. Every moment you choose hope matters. And none of it is wasted. My child, the blessing you cannot see yet is already growing. The answer you cannot see yet is already forming. The future you cannot see yet is already being prepared. And when the right time comes, you will understand why I asked you to trust me. You will understand why I asked you to be patient. You will understand why I asked you to keep believing. Because what I am preparing for you is worth the wait. And what I am building in you is even more valuable than what I am building around you. So rest tonight. Trust tomorrow. And remember, I am working even when you cannot see it. I am moving even when you cannot feel it. I am preparing even when you do not understand it. And I will never stop caring for you. Never. Amen. My beloved child, what I am about to tell you may be exactly what your heart needs today. Because there have been moments when you wondered where I was. Moments when the silence felt long. Moments when prayer seemed unanswered. Moments when the road ahead appeared uncertain. And during those moments, a quiet question formed within your heart. Jesus, are you still with me? My child, the answer has always been yes. Yes when you felt strong. Yes when you felt weak. Yes when you felt hopeful. Yes when you felt discouraged. Yes when you were celebrating victories. And yes when you were crying in secret. I have never left your side. Not for a single moment. Not for a single day. Not for a single breath. My beloved child, one day, something will happen that reminds you of this truth. It may be a prayer unexpectedly answered. It may be a door unexpectedly opened. It may be a conversation that brings clarity. It may be a blessing that arrives at exactly the right time. It may be a moment so perfectly arranged that you will know deep in your spirit. This could only have been God. And when that moment arrives, your faith will grow stronger. Not because you finally received what you wanted, but because you will see evidence of what I was doing all along. My child, many people think faith grows only through blessings. But often faith grows most through waiting. Waiting teaches trust. Waiting teaches patience. Waiting teaches surrender. Waiting teaches dependence on me. And dependence on me creates strength. A strength that circumstances cannot take away. My beloved child, you have survived seasons that you once thought would destroy you. You have overcome obstacles that once looked impossible. You have carried burdens that seemed too heavy. And yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still moving forward. That is not weakness. That is strength. Strength developed through faith. Strength developed through perseverance. Strength developed through my grace working inside you. My child, there are things I protected you from that you still do not know about. Conversations you never heard. Situations you never saw. Problems you never encountered. Doors that never opened. Paths that never unfolded. Not because I was withholding good things from you, but because I was protecting you. Many times you called it disappointment, but I called it protection. Many times you called it delay, but I called it preparation. Many times you called it confusion, but I called it guidance. My beloved child, you do not yet see the entire picture, but you do not need to, because I see it, and my vision is complete. I see every detail. every opportunity, every challenge, every blessing, every lesson, every step of your future. And because I see it all, I know how to guide you. My child, the enemy wants you to focus on what has not happened. I want you to focus on what is happening. Growth is happening. Healing is happening. Wisdom is happening. Transformation is happening. Even if those things are not immediately visible, even if those things seem small, even if those things are occurring quietly, they are happening, and they matter. My beloved child, some of the greatest miracles begin in ways that appear ordinary. A conversation, a decision, a new perspective, an unexpected opportunity, a moment of courage, a step of faith, and over time, those small beginnings grow into something remarkable. Never underestimate what I can do through small beginnings. Never underestimate what I can do through ordinary moments. Because I specialize in turning ordinary moments into extraordinary testimonies. My child, you are closer to breakthrough than you realize. Not necessarily because circumstances are about to change overnight, but because your perspective is changing. Your wisdom is increasing. Your faith is deepening. Your trust is growing. And those changes create the foundation for everything that comes next. My beloved child, I know there are days when you still feel tired, days when you still have questions, days when uncertainty still tries to steal your peace. That is why I want you to remember this simple truth. You do not carry your future alone. You do not carry your burdens alone. You do not carry your worries alone. I am carrying them with you. And where my strength is present, there is always hope. My child, the future is not something you must fear. The future is a place where I am already waiting for you. A place where my provision already exists. A place where my guidance already exists. A place where my peace already exists. And step by step, day by day, I am leading you there. My beloved child, one day you will look back on this season and realize something amazing. You will realize that I never stopped working. Not during the silence. Not during the waiting. Not during the uncertainty. Not during the confusion. Not during the disappointment. I was always working. Always guiding. Always protecting. Always preparing. Always loving you. My child, what happens next may not look exactly like you expect. But when it arrives, it will remind you of something powerful. I was there the whole time. In every prayer. In every lesson. In every delay. In every blessing. In every challenge. In every victory. I was there. And I still am. So do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. Do not stop trusting. Because the story is still unfolding. The journey is still continuing. And some of the most beautiful chapters are still ahead. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep trusting me. And when the time is right, you will see with your own eyes that I never left your side. Not even for a moment. Amen. My beloved child, there are some doors in life that you never expected to close. Doors you prayed would stay open. Doors you worked hard to keep open. Doors you believed were part of your future. And when those doors closed, it hurt. It confused you. It disappointed you. Some of those closed doors still cross your mind from time to time. You still wonder what might have happened if things had turned out differently. You still wonder why certain opportunities disappeared. You still wonder why certain people walked away. You still wonder why plans that seemed so promising suddenly changed. My child, I know those questions. I know those disappointments. I know every moment you sat alone trying to make sense of what happened. And today I want to tell you something important. Not every closed door was a punishment. Many closed doors were protection. Many closed doors were redirection. Many closed doors were preparation for something greater than you could see at the time. My beloved child, human eyes often see only the opportunity. But I see the entire path. You see the entrance. I see the destination. You see the beginning. I see the outcome. You see what appears attractive today. I see what will impact your life years from now. And because I see farther than you do, there are moments when I lovingly redirect your steps. My child, some of the things you once cried about are now things you quietly thank me for. Think about that. There were opportunities you desperately wanted that later proved they were not right for you. There were relationships you wanted to keep that later revealed why they could not continue. There were plans you wanted to happen that later showed you why they needed to change. Time has a way of revealing what emotions cannot immediately understand, and wisdom has a way of revealing what disappointment once concealed. My beloved child, you often judge a season while you are still inside it, but the full meaning of a season usually becomes clear only after you have passed through it. While you are inside the storm, you see rain. After the storm passes, you see growth. While you are inside the waiting, you see delay. After the waiting ends, you see preparation. While you are inside the disappointment, you see loss. After enough time passes, you see redirection. My child, there are things that make sense now that once seemed impossible to understand. And there are things happening today that will make sense later. Trust that process. Trust my wisdom. Trust my timing. Because understanding often arrives in stages. My beloved child, one of the enemy's greatest lies is convincing people that a closed door means a hopeless future. But a closed door does not determine your future. I determine your future. A disappointment does not determine your future. I determine your future. A setback does not determine your future. I determine your future. And because I am guiding your steps, no closed door has the power to cancel the purpose I have for your life. My child, some people become trapped because they spend years standing in front of a door I already closed. They keep asking why. They keep trying to reopen it. They keep looking backward. Meanwhile, new opportunities wait elsewhere. New blessings wait elsewhere. New growth waits elsewhere. And because they remain focused on what ended, they struggle to see what is beginning. Do not let that happen to you. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes. Look ahead. Look beyond what was lost. Look beyond what ended. Look beyond what disappointed you. Because there are things ahead that deserve your attention. There are blessings ahead that deserve your energy. There are opportunities ahead that deserve your faith. My child, you are not moving toward less. You are moving toward more. More wisdom, more peace, more maturity, more understanding, more purpose, more confidence in my guidance. And every lesson from your past is helping prepare you for that future. My beloved child, the day will come when certain pieces suddenly fit together. The day will come when things that once confused you begin making sense. The day will come when you recognize why certain paths ended, why certain doors closed, why certain plans changed. And when that day arrives, you will not only understand what happened, you will understand why it happened. That understanding brings peace. Because peace often comes when purpose becomes visible. My child, you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are not wandering without direction. You are being led, step by step, lesson by lesson, season by season. And even when the path feels uncertain, my guidance remains constant. My beloved child, there is a future version of you who will look back on this season and smile. Not because every moment was easy, not because every experience was pleasant, but because that future version of you will finally see how everything was working together. The lessons, the delays, the victories, the disappointments, the closed doors, the new beginnings, all of it. And when you see it clearly, gratitude will replace many of the questions you carry today. My child, do not be afraid to move forward. Do not be afraid to release what is behind you. Do not be afraid to trust my direction. Because the same God who guided you yesterday is guiding you today. And the same God who guides you today will guide you tomorrow. I have not abandoned you. I have not forgotten you. I have not stopped working. I have not stopped leading. And I have not stopped preparing beautiful things for your future. My beloved child, the door you thought was closed forever will one day make sense. The disappointment you thought ruined everything will one day make sense. The delay you thought was unfair will one day make sense. And when understanding arrives, you will see something remarkable. You will see that my hand was present through every chapter, protecting, guiding, teaching, preparing, loving, leading, every step of the way. So keep trusting me. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Because your story is still unfolding. And some of the most beautiful pages have not yet been written. Amen. My beloved child, there is a prayer you have carried for a very long time. A prayer you whispered when nobody else was around. A prayer you prayed through tears. A prayer you prayed through disappointment. A prayer you prayed through seasons of hope and seasons of doubt. You know the one. You may not even speak about it very often anymore. You may have stopped mentioning it to others. You may have stopped expecting anything to happen. You may have even convinced yourself that it was time to let it go. But my child, I have not forgotten it. Not once. Not for a single moment. Every prayer spoken in faith matters to me. Every cry from your heart matters to me. Every hope you placed before me matters to me. And the prayer you almost gave up on is still known by me. My beloved child, sometimes people think that because an answer has not arrived, I must not be listening. But silence is not absence. Waiting is not rejection. Delay is not abandonment. Many times what feels like nothing is actually preparation. Preparation you cannot see. Preparation you cannot measure. Preparation that only becomes visible when the time is right. My child, there are answers that require timing. There are blessings that require growth. There are opportunities that require preparation. And there are prayers that require multiple pieces to come together before the answer can fully arrive. I see all those pieces. You do not need to carry that burden. You only need to keep trusting. My beloved child, think about how many things I have already done in your life. Think about how many times I carried you through situations you never expected to survive. Think about how many times I opened a way when you could not see one. Think about how many times I provided exactly what you needed. If I was faithful then, I will be faithful now. If I guided you then, I will guide you now. If I carried you then, I will carry you now. Because my character does not change. My child, the enemy wants you to believe it is too late. Too late for healing. Too late for restoration. Too late for growth. Too late for new opportunities. Too late for answers. But my child, I am not limited by human timelines. I am not limited by human expectations. I am not limited by what others think is possible. What seems impossible to people is not impossible for me. What seems delayed to people is not delayed to me. What seems finished to people is not necessarily finished in my plans. My beloved child, there are blessings developing that you cannot yet see. There are opportunities approaching that you cannot yet recognize. There are answers moving toward you that you cannot yet measure. And while you wait, I want you to focus on something important. Do not focus only on the answer. Focus on becoming the person I am shaping you to be. Because sometimes the preparation is just as important as the blessing. Sometimes the growth is just as important as the outcome. Sometimes the lesson is just as important as the answer. My child, I know waiting can be difficult, especially when your heart has been invested for a long time, especially when you have prayed sincerely, especially when you have trusted faithfully. But do not mistake a long journey for a forgotten prayer. A prayer is never forgotten by me. Never. My beloved child, there are moments coming that will strengthen your faith. Moments that will remind you of my faithfulness. Moments that will help you understand why certain things happen the way they did. Moments that will show you that I was working even when you could not see it. And when those moments arrive, your perspective will change. You will realize that what looked like silence was not silence at all. It was preparation. It was guidance. It was protection. It was wisdom. My child, the prayer you almost gave up on may not be answered exactly the way you imagined. Sometimes my answers look different than human expectations. But my answers always carry purpose. My answers always carry wisdom. My answers always carry love. And because they carry those things, they ultimately lead you toward what is best. My beloved child, keep praying, keep trusting, keep believing. Not because faith guarantees immediate results, but because faith keeps your heart connected to me. And a heart connected to me will always find strength for the journey. My child, you do not need to know every detail. You do not need to understand every delay. You do not need to predict every outcome. You simply need to continue walking with me. One day at a time. One step at a time. One prayer at a time. One act of trust at a time. And as you do, you will discover something beautiful. You will discover that I was never ignoring you. I was never forgetting you. I was never abandoning you. I was never withholding my love from you. I was working, quietly, faithfully, patiently, powerfully. My beloved child, the prayer you almost gave up on is closer than you think. Not because I suddenly remembered it, but because I never forgot it. I heard it the first time. I heard it the 100th time. I heard it every single time. And I have been working in ways you cannot yet fully see. So do not lose hope. Do not let discouragement steal your faith. Do not let waiting convince you that nothing is happening. Because something is happening. Growth is happening. Preparation is happening. Wisdom is happening. And when the right moment arrives, you will understand why I asked you to trust me a little longer. My child, hold on. Keep believing. Keep walking forward. Because your story is not over. Your prayer is not forgotten. And my faithfulness is not finished. The best chapter may be closer than you realize. Amen. My beloved child, there was a season in your life that changed you. A season you did not ask for. A season you would never have chosen. A season that brought pain, confusion, disappointment, and questions you never expected to carry. Even now, when you think about it, emotions may still rise within your heart. Because some wounds take time to heal. Some memories take time to understand. Some experiences leave marks that cannot be erased overnight. And I know that season. I know every detail of it. I know every tear that fell. I know every sleepless night. I know every moment you felt overwhelmed. I know every prayer you whispered when you felt as though nobody else understood. My child, there were moments when you believed that season was destroying you. Moments when you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. Moments when you questioned whether life would ever feel normal again. But you survived. Not because the pain was small. Not because the struggle was easy. But because I carried you through it. Even when you could not feel my presence. Even when you could not understand my plan. Even when you could not see the purpose. I was carrying you. My beloved child. One of the hardest truths for people to accept is that growth often comes through difficult seasons. Nobody enjoys the process. Nobody enjoys the pain. Nobody enjoys the uncertainty. But some lessons can only be learned through experience. Some strength can only be developed through challenges. Some wisdom can only be gained through walking through difficult places. And while I did not delight in your suffering, I did not waste it either. My child, nothing you experienced was meaningless. Nothing. Not the tears. Not the disappointment. Not the waiting. Not the heartbreak. Not the confusion. Not the questions. I have been working through all of it. Transforming pain into wisdom. Transforming disappointment into maturity. Transforming struggles into strength. Transforming wounds into testimony. My beloved child, you often focus on what that season took from you. But today I want you to consider what it gave you. It gave you wisdom you did not have before. It gave you compassion you did not have before. It gave you discernment you did not have before. It gave you strength you did not know existed. It gave you a deeper dependence on me. And those gifts are valuable. Very valuable. My child, there are people who never develop wisdom because they never allow themselves to learn from pain. There are people who remain trapped because they refuse to grow through difficult experiences. But you are not meant to remain trapped. You are meant to grow. You are meant to heal. You are meant to move forward. And that is exactly what I have been helping you do. My beloved child, healing does not always happen in dramatic moments. Sometimes healing happens quietly, day by day, prayer by prayer, lesson by lesson, small improvements, small victories, small moments of peace, until one day you realize that the wound no longer controls you the way it once did. That is healing, and healing is happening within you. My child, the season that broke your heart also revealed your strength. The season that challenged your faith also deepened your faith. The season that made you question everything also taught you what truly matters. And one day, you will see that more clearly than ever before. Because perspective changes with time. What looks like devastation in one season may later reveal itself as preparation. What looks like loss in one season may later reveal itself as protection. What looks like an ending in one season may later reveal itself as a new beginning. My beloved child, you do not have to understand everything immediately. You do not have to force every piece into place. You do not have to solve every mystery. Some understanding arrives gradually. Some clarity arrives through experience. Some answers arrive only after enough time has passed. And that is okay, because my timing is never rushed. My child, there are things you see today that you could not see a year ago. There are lessons you understand today that once confused you. There are truths that are clear now that once felt impossible to understand. That is evidence of growth. That is evidence of healing. That is evidence that I have been working within you. My beloved child, the season that broke you was never meant to define you. It was meant to develop you. It was meant to teach you. It was meant to strengthen you. It was meant to prepare you. And while you may never celebrate the pain itself, one day you will appreciate the wisdom it produced. My child, I know there are still moments when certain memories hurt, moments when certain questions return, moments when old emotions resurface. Do not be discouraged by that. Healing is a journey. Growth is a journey. Transformation is a journey. And I am walking that journey with you. Every step, every day, every season. My beloved child, one day, someone may hear your story and find hope because of it. Someone may see your strength and realize they can keep going too. Someone may hear about what you survived and discover courage for their own journey. Because pain redeemed becomes testimony. Pain redeemed becomes wisdom. Pain redeemed becomes purpose. And purpose is one of the beautiful things I create from difficult seasons. My child, you may not fully understand everything that happened. Not yet. But understanding is growing. Wisdom is growing. Healing is growing. And peace is growing. Slowly, steadily, faithfully, just as I promised. My beloved child, the season that broke you is about to reveal why it happened. Not necessarily all at once. Not necessarily through a single answer, but through growing wisdom, growing perspective, growing faith, and growing understanding. And when that understanding arrives, you will see something beautiful. You will see that I never abandoned you in the pain. I never abandoned you in the confusion. I never abandoned you in the waiting. I never abandoned you in the tears. I was there, working, guiding, healing, preparing, loving, every single step of the way. So keep trusting me. Keep moving forward. Keep allowing healing to do its work. Because your story is not defined by what broke you. Your story is defined by how I carried you through it. And the chapters ahead are still being written. Amen. My beloved child, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine meeting the future version of yourself. The person you will become after all the lessons are learned. After all the healing continues. After all the growth takes root. After all the seasons I am leading you through have done their work. What would that future version of you say? I believe one of the first things they would say is this: thank you for not giving up. Thank you for continuing when it would have been easier to quit. Thank you for believing when doubt was loud. Thank you for trusting God when you could not see the outcome. Thank you for taking one more step when you felt exhausted. Thank you for surviving the season that tried to convince you that your story was over. My child, there were moments when you felt weaker than everyone around you. Moments when you compared your journey to others. Moments when you wondered if you were falling behind. Moments when you questioned your progress. But comparison never tells the whole story. You do not know every battle another person is facing, and they do not know every battle you are facing. That is why I want your focus on me, not on comparisons, not on appearances, not on other people's timelines. Focus on me, because I know exactly where you are, and I know exactly where I am leading you. My beloved child, you often underestimate how much progress you have made, because you see yourself every day. You notice the remaining struggles. You notice the unanswered questions. You notice the imperfections. But I also see the growth. I see the courage. I see the wisdom. I see the maturity. I see the faith that continues to rise even after difficult seasons. And that growth matters more than you realize. My child, the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you were. Not because life became easier, but because you learned how to walk through challenges without giving up. You learned how to keep trusting. You learned how to keep believing. You learn how to keep moving forward. Those lessons are valuable. Those lessons are shaping your destiny. My beloved child, there are blessings ahead that your current self cannot fully appreciate yet. Not because you are ungrateful, but because some blessings require preparation. Some blessings require wisdom. Some blessings require maturity. And that preparation is happening right now. Every lesson matters. Every challenge matters. Every act of faith matters. Every moment you choose hope matters. Because all of it is contributing to who you are becoming. My child, one day you will realize that many of the things you feared never happened. Many of the worries that consumed your thoughts never became reality. Many of the uncertainties that troubled your heart eventually found resolution. And when you look back, you will recognize how much energy fear tried to steal from you. That is why I keep calling you toward peace. Because peace allows you to live. Peace allows you to grow. Peace allows you to enjoy the blessings that already exist around you. My beloved child, do not postpone your joy until every question is answered. Do not postpone your gratitude until every prayer is fulfilled. Do not postpone your peace until every uncertainty disappears. There are reasons to be thankful today. There are blessings to notice today. There are moments of grace surrounding you today. My child, the future version of you will not only thank you for surviving, they will thank you for growing. They will thank you for choosing faith. They will thank you for refusing to become bitter. They will thank you for continuing to trust me. Because those choices are shaping the person you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is beautiful, wise, strong, compassionate, resilient, faithful. My beloved child, never believe the lie that your efforts are meaningless. Never believe the lie that your growth is invisible. Never believe the lie that your prayers are wasted. I see every act of faith. I see every act of courage. I see every step forward. Nothing is hidden from me. Nothing is overlooked. Nothing is wasted. My child, there are days ahead when you will smile again. Days ahead when you will laugh again. Days ahead when you will experience peace in ways you cannot fully imagine right now. Days ahead when you will recognize how far you have come. And when those days arrive, you will realize something remarkable. You were stronger than you thought. You were more resilient than you thought. You were more capable than you thought. Because my strength was working within you the entire time. My beloved child, you are not becoming who you were. You are becoming who I created you to be. And that journey is worth every lesson, worth every act of faith, worth every moment of perseverance, worth every choice to keep moving forward. My child, the road ahead may still contain challenges, but it also contains opportunities. It also contains growth. It also contains joy. It also contains blessings. And most importantly, it contains my presence. You will not walk into the future alone. You will walk into it with me, guiding you, strengthening you, protecting you, teaching you, loving you, every step of the way. My beloved child, the person you are becoming will one day look back on this season and understand something powerful. They will understand that the greatest victory was not avoiding every challenge. The greatest victory was refusing to give up. The greatest victory was continuing to trust. The greatest victory was continuing to believe. The greatest victory was continuing to walk forward even when the path seemed uncertain. And because you chose to keep going, your story continues. Your growth continues. Your healing continues. Your purpose continues. And the beautiful future I am preparing continues to draw closer. So keep walking, my child. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Because one day, the person you are becoming will thank you for not giving up. And they will thank me for carrying you through every step of the journey. Amen. My beloved child, there are moments in life when people are closest to breakthrough and do not even realize it. They look around and see only challenges. They look around and see only delays. They look around and see only unanswered questions. And because they cannot yet see what I am doing behind the scenes, they assume nothing is changing. But my child, so much can be happening beneath the surface. So much can be developing beyond your sight. So much can be moving into place without you realizing it. And that is why I want you to hear these words carefully. You are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. Not because every problem is about to disappear overnight. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because I have been working in ways you cannot fully see. My beloved child, many people imagine breakthrough as a single dramatic moment, a sudden answer, a sudden opportunity, a sudden miracle, and sometimes breakthroughs happen that way. But often, breakthrough begins long before it becomes visible. It begins with a changed perspective, a stronger faith, a wiser heart, a deeper trust, a renewed sense of hope. Those things may seem small, but they are powerful, because inner transformation creates the foundation for everything that follows. My child, think about how much you have changed. Think about the things that once controlled your thoughts, the fears that once dominated your mind, the disappointments that once consumed your heart. You are not the same person anymore. You have grown. You have learned. You have matured. You have developed wisdom that only experience could teach. And that growth is part of the breakthrough. My beloved child, there were times when you thought you were standing still. But you were not standing still. You were being strengthened. There were times when you thought nothing was happening. But things were happening. You were learning patience, learning trust, learning discernment, learning perseverance. And those lessons matter, because they prepare you for what comes next. My child, I know there are still things you are waiting for, still prayers you carry, still dreams you hope to see fulfilled, still questions that remain unanswered. And I am not asking you to pretend those things do not matter. They do matter. Your hopes matter. Your dreams matter. Your prayers matter. Your desires matter. But I want you to remember that my timing is not designed to frustrate you. My timing is designed to prepare you. My beloved child, sometimes what feels like delay is actually alignment. People are being positioned. Opportunities are being prepared. Circumstances are developing. Lessons are being learned. Strength is being built. And when the right moment arrives, things begin fitting together in ways that once seemed impossible. My child, you do not have to force what I am preparing. You do not have to manipulate outcomes. You do not have to carry the weight of controlling every detail. That burden is too heavy, and it was never meant to be yours. Instead, I want you to focus on faithfulness. Focus on trust. Focus on wisdom. Focus on taking the next step I place before you. Because often the next step is all you need to see. My beloved child, There is something beautiful about trust. Trust allows peace to exist even before answers arrive. Trust allows hope to survive even when circumstances remain uncertain. Trust allows courage to grow even when outcomes remain unknown. And trust is one of the greatest gifts you can develop. Because trust keeps your heart connected to me. My child, the breakthrough you seek may not arrive exactly the way you expect. Many of my blessings arrive differently than people imagine. Many of my answers appear in forms people never anticipated. Many of my miracles begin as small opportunities rather than dramatic events. That is why I want you to remain open, remain attentive, remain hopeful, remain willing to see my hand working in unexpected ways. My beloved child, do not overlook small victories. Do not overlook small improvements. Do not overlook small answers to prayer, because many great testimonies begin with small beginnings. A conversation, a decision, a new opportunity, a fresh perspective, a renewed sense of peace. Small things often grow into remarkable things. My child, there are reasons for hope, more reasons than you currently realize. Because I am still working, still guiding, still preparing, still opening doors, still creating opportunities, still making a way. And my work does not stop simply because you cannot yet see it. My beloved child, one day you will look back on this season and understand something that is difficult to see right now. You will understand that breakthrough was not only about changing circumstances. Breakthrough was also about changing you, strengthening you, preparing you, teaching you, transforming you. And that transformation will become one of the greatest blessings of all. My child, you are not as far away as you think. You are not as stuck as you think. You are not as forgotten as you think. You are not as alone as you think. I am closer than you realize. My guidance is closer than you realize. My provision is closer than you realize. My peace is closer than you realize. And yes, your breakthrough may be closer than you realize as well. So continue trusting, continue believing, continue praying, continue growing, continue moving forward, one faithful step at a time, because every step matters, every lesson matters, every act of faith matters, and every day is bringing you closer to the future I am preparing. My beloved child, the story is still unfolding. The journey is still continuing. The answers are still developing. The blessings are still growing. And the best is not behind you. The best is still ahead. So lift your head, strengthen your heart, renew your hope, and keep walking with me. Because I am leading you toward greater peace, greater wisdom, greater purpose, and greater joy than you can currently imagine. And when the breakthrough finally becomes visible, you will understand that I was working all along. Amen. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand about the battles you have faced. Many times, when people go through difficult seasons, they believe they have lost. They look at what happened. They look at what ended. They look at what hurt. They look at what did not work out. And they come to a painful conclusion. I failed. I lost. It is over. But my child, what if the battle you thought you lost was actually preparing you for your greatest victory? What if the season that felt like defeat was actually shaping the strength you would need later? What if the disappointment that broke your heart was actually protecting you from something you could not yet see? What if what looked like an ending was actually preparation for a new beginning? My beloved child, human eyes often judge a story before the story is finished. People see one chapter and assume they understand the entire book. They see one setback and assume they know the final outcome. They see one difficult season and assume the future has already been decided. But I see the whole story. I see the chapters you have already lived. And I see the chapters that have not yet been written. My child, some of your greatest lessons came from moments you never wanted to experience. Some of your deepest wisdom came from seasons you never would have chosen. Some of your strongest faith was developed during moments when you felt weakest. And because of those experiences, you are not the same person you once were. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are more discerning. You are more resilient. And that matters. My beloved child, there were battles that taught you how to persevere, battles that taught you patience, battles that taught you humility, battles that taught you compassion, battles that taught you how to trust me when circumstances made no sense. Those lessons are valuable because victories are not built only through success. Victories are often built through preparation, and preparation often happens during struggle. My child, do not underestimate what I can do with a difficult season. Do not underestimate what I can do with disappointment. Do not underestimate what I can do with failure. Do not underestimate what I can do with heartbreak. Because I specialize in redeeming things people think are beyond repair. I specialize in creating beauty from brokenness. I specialize in bringing purpose from pain. I specialize in turning setbacks into testimonies. My beloved child, there are people listening to this message who still carry the weight of old battles. Battles they believe they lost. Battles they replay in their minds. Battles they wish had ended differently. And today I want to speak directly to that burden. You do not have to carry it anymore. You do not have to define yourself by your hardest season. You do not have to define yourself by your biggest mistake. You do not have to define yourself by your greatest disappointment. Because your identity is not found in what happened to you. Your identity is found in who I created you to be. My child, the enemy wants you focused on your wounds. I want you focused on your growth. The enemy wants you focused on your failures. I want you focused on your future. The enemy wants you focused on what ended. I want you focused on what is beginning. Because where you focus your attention often determines the direction of your life. My beloved child, there are victories ahead that will only be possible because of what you learned during previous battles. Think about that. The strength you are developing today may become the reason you succeed tomorrow. The wisdom you are gaining today may become the reason you make better decisions later. The patience you are learning today may become the reason you experience greater peace in the future. Nothing is wasted. Nothing. Not a single lesson. Not a single tear. Not a single prayer. Not a single act of faith. My child, there are times when you will not understand what I am doing until much later. There are times when clarity arrives only after enough time has passed. There are times when the purpose behind a season becomes visible only when you reach the next chapter. And that is okay, because understanding is not required for trust. Trust comes first. Understanding often follows. My beloved child, you may have walked through battles you never wanted. You may have experienced losses you never expected. You may have faced disappointments that changed your perspective forever. But those experiences are not the end of your story. They are chapters, not conclusions. They are lessons, not definitions. They are preparation, not permanent destinations. My child, the future I am preparing for you still contains joy, still contains purpose, still contains opportunities, still contains growth, still contains peace. And every lesson from your past is helping prepare you for those blessings. That is why I keep telling you to move forward. Because your future deserves your attention. Your calling deserves your attention. Your purpose deserves your attention. My beloved child, one day you will look back on a battle you thought you lost and realize something remarkable. You will realize that the battle did not destroy you. It strengthened you. It taught you. It prepared you. It transformed you. And because of that transformation, you became capable of walking into blessings you never would have been ready for before. My child, you are stronger than you know, more resilient than you know, more prepared than you know, and the victory ahead may be far greater than you currently imagine. So do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. Do not allow temporary circumstances to convince you that the story is over, because it is not over. I am still writing, still guiding, still preparing, still working. And the battle you thought you lost may one day become the testimony that reveals how faithfully I carried you through it all. My beloved child, keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing, because some of your greatest victories are still ahead. And when they arrive, you will understand why I never allowed you to give up. Amen. My beloved child, we have come to the end of this message. But before you go, there is one final truth I want you to carry with you. A truth that can sustain you during waiting. A truth that can strengthen you during uncertainty. A truth that can bring peace even when answers have not yet arrived. And that truth is this. One day, you will understand why I asked you to wait. My child, right now, there may still be questions. There may still be prayers that seem unanswered. There may still be dreams that feel distant. There may still be situations that do not fully make sense. And I know how difficult that can feel. I know the weight of wondering. I know the burden of uncertainty. I know the longing for clarity. But I also know something you cannot yet see. I know where the road leads. I know what is ahead. I know how the pieces fit together. And because I know those things, I can ask you to trust me. My beloved child, if I showed you the entire future today, you would be amazed by what I have planned. You would see opportunities you cannot yet imagine. You would see blessings that have not yet arrived. You would see doors that have not yet opened. You would see people who have not yet entered your life. You would see prayers that are still moving toward fulfillment. And you would understand why some things had to happen slowly. Why some answers required patience. Why some seasons required growth. Why some doors needed to remain closed. Why some delays were actually protection. My child, the waiting was never meaningless. The waiting was teaching you trust. The waiting was teaching you patience. The waiting was teaching you wisdom. The waiting was teaching you dependence on me. And those lessons are priceless. Because circumstances can change overnight. But wisdom lasts. Faith lasts. Character lasts. Trust lasts. Those are treasures that remain long after circumstances change. My beloved child, there were times when you thought you were being denied. But often you were being protected. There were times when you thought you were being forgotten. But you were being prepared. There were times when you thought nothing was happening. But I was arranging details beyond your sight, working in places you could not reach, moving in ways you could not measure. My child, never confuse silence with absence. Never confuse delay with rejection. Never confuse waiting with abandonment. Because I have been with you through every season, every prayer, every disappointment, every victory, every lesson, every step. I have never left. Not once. My beloved child, when you eventually see the full picture, gratitude will replace many of the questions you carry today. You will see how certain delays protected you. You will see how certain disappointments redirected you. You will see how certain struggles strengthened you. You will see how certain closed doors preserved you. And you will realize that my hand was present through all of it, guiding, protecting, teaching, preparing, loving. My child, do not be afraid of the future. The future is not your enemy. The future is filled with possibilities I am preparing for you. There will be new opportunities, new joys, new lessons, new blessings, new growth, new testimonies. And through every chapter, I will remain faithful, just as I always have. My beloved child, as this message comes to an end, I want you to release every burden you were never meant to carry. Release the need to control everything. Release the fear of the unknown. Release the anxiety about tomorrow. Release the questions that have stolen your peace. Place them in my hands. Trust me with them, because my hands are strong enough to carry what yours cannot. My child, you do not need to have every answer tonight. You do not need to understand every detail tonight. You do not need to solve every problem tonight. What you need is peace. And peace is available to you right now. Not because everything is perfect, but because I am with you. My beloved child, as you move forward from this message, remember these words. You are loved. You are seen. You are guided. You are protected. You are never forgotten. You are never abandoned. You are never alone. And your story is not over. In fact, some of the most beautiful chapters are still ahead. So walk forward with faith. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with hope. Walk forward with peace. Because I am walking with you. Today, tomorrow, and always. My beloved child, thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. Thank you for continuing to trust me. Keep believing. Keep growing. Keep moving forward. And never forget, one day you will understand why I asked you to wait. And when that day comes, you will see that my timing was worth trusting all along. Amen. Jesus, I choose to trust your timing. Even when I don't understand the delay. Even when I cannot see the answer. Even when the future feels uncertain. I will trust that you are working for my good. Thank you for never leaving me. Thank you for carrying me through every season. Thank you for the blessings that are still on the way. Amen.